What made you come to the conclusion that Cara is the one?
If I waited longer, I'll be left on the shelf.
But I'm correct, right?
Of course, you're correct.
You're always right.
Yeah, you're always
the
right.
wives are always right. What led you guys to fall
不小心了。
to a couple that's getting married? What advice would you give?
Think twice.
Hi, I'm John and welcome to Mayhem Season 2! We had a very awesome first season and now we are back for more questions and more la. Because life can get pretty spicy at times. That's why today we have brought in Keith and Cara, who have been married for more than 10 years, and we will be discussing about God, faith and getting married. They will be sharing their life experiences and everything in between. So let's go! Okay guys, there are 3 different levels of conversation and each level there'll be a penalty at the end. So what's going to happen is if we write down the words and we say the words that we choose for each other, there'll be a forfeit of a corresponding amount of mala that we need to take at the end of each level, okay? You all need to discuss
Okay.
what is the word that I shouldn't be saying throughout the different levels, okay?
We're ready.
Okay. So now let's head over to our conversation. How did you guys meet?
We met in our very first church. The church is no longer around, but our relationship persevered. Our relationship went beyond the lifespan of the church.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we met in youth ministry. That's how we got to know each other. We became friends, served together, and then we started dating.
Who made the first move?
He lah.
How did it happen?
How did it happen? Maybe it was me, that's why I cannot remember.
Like what, you dropped me a text or?
It was very gradual, I think.
Yeah.
But I think he will claim that I was more forthright.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe when I was in my teens lah.
So like, what caught your attention about each other?
I found her to be somebody quite extraordinary from the group.
Yeah.
Because she's always the one initiating, managing the administrative matters of the youth group and worship leads.
Wow.
So she's somebody that you won't miss if you are there.
Yeah.
But if she's not there, you'll definitely miss her.
Oh. What about you? What caught your attention?
Okay. For Keith, he is a leader, true and true. So that has been true ever since he was young lah.
Yeah.
So I guess his leadership stands out quite a bit, it's quite attractive lah. You know.
So then, y'all started dating. How old were y'all then?
Late teens, maybe?
Yeah.
Wow. And then, when did y'all only start thinking about like getting married?
When everybody around us started looking for BTO.
That's true.
Yeah.
You started hearing, hey, we apply for BTO here and there. Yeah.
I think also it's a natural progression. We finished uni, we started working, we've been dating for a while, and things are starting to take shape.
Yep.
So we decided to take the next step. Applying for BTO is definitely a significant milestone for Singaporeans.
So how did that happen? Did you BTO first or propose or? Do you remember?
BTO first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then how did he propose?
He came with a ice cooler box.
Wow.
So what was in the ice cooler box was a bouquet of flowers.
For an event or what? Yeah.
No, it was Chinese New Year because I wanted to propose in front of my parents and her parents, and the best time to do that was during Chinese New Year visiting, where our family, in the name of Bai Nian, visit her family. So we don't want to make it so obvious to bring a bunch of a bouquet, right?
Yeah.
So we hid it in a
Cooler
cooler box. So when everybody was seated around for Chinese New Year, then
Suddenly the cooler box came out.
For Cara, how do you know along the way before he proposed? How do you know that Keith is the one?
I think generally he strikes me as someone who is very stable, who has his heart is in the right place lah. Like he doesn't gamble, he doesn't beat me up.
This is like basic criteria of any human being. I think the moment you beat somebody up, the police take it already, right? Carry on.
So all that, and of course I feel like when I'm with him, I feel secure lah.
Yeah.
So
what would you say some qualities that you were attracted to?
I think if I waited longer, I'll be left on the shelf lah. Definitely not. Cara has always been a very strong pillar in the ministry that we were in, and also gradually became a pillar in my life. And one of those things that I appreciate her a lot is she's very respectful and she loves my family like her own. So even when we were dating, the way she treated my parents and my siblings were no different from how she would treat her own. So that I found very heartwarming. Not just somebody that I could live with, like almost somebody I cannot live without.
Wow, that's so good. Okay, now coming to a bit, that's all the positive that I'm hearing so far. Very good, very good. Now that you've been married for 10 years, at least, what are some pet peeves about each other?
I know what he's going to say, but it's not true.
This is not to pit you all against each other, but it's just like, just to be honest, you know.
Okay, but only can say one, right?
Up to you. You can say one list of things.
You can go first.
Carefully. So I would say that her management of time is a little bit more flexible as compared to most people. So at times where we are in a rush to go somewhere or send the kids for class to school, time is always on her side.
That's a very good way to put it. Okay, what about you?
So in the morning, this just happened. And my pet peeve is that when he's driving, right, he don't want to take the route that I suggest, you know.
Wow, is it familiar?
Why just now didn't turn? Then he said, oh, because I like to go this way. Then I say, but you know the traffic is bad this way. Then he say, I like bad traffic.
I think it's quite universal. Like men always like to drive a certain way. Why don't take the fastest route, you know? Now we come to the end of level 1. So let's see what is the result.
Keith Cara has 6. 0.
You're very kind, you're very kind.
For Keith Cara, the word is like.
Like.
John is money.
Oh wow. Oh, too early in the year. Too early in the year. Wow. Look at that. But my stomach is not well prepared. 3, 2, 1. What is this?
Yeah.
Very good.
You're very happy you can eat more. Later we eat then stuck in our teeth. Huh?
Then the whole will see our teeth.
Wow, now it's quite
Spicy, yeah. Your dinner settled already, Keith.
Yeah, settled.
Thanks for that. Okay, now let's go to level 2, where our questions will get spicier and the mala gets hotter. How do you all manage your finances and plan towards your marriage?
Both of us were in full-time jobs for a number of years already. I think maybe 3 years thereabout before we got married. So we intentionally saved a little bit, like set aside. And Keith being the eldest, his parents were very enthusiastic to support the wedding. Yeah, of course we didn't mind lah. So so I think we managed lah. Yeah.
Then in terms of bank accounts and all that, do you all have a reference, or what do you think will work best for you guys?
I think before we got married, we already opened a joint account. So anything to do with the wedding expense and future family day-to-day expense would be taken from this account. So we are very conscientious to deposit a certain amount into this joint account every month.
In terms of your wedding, right? Like how much do you all prepare for it roughly last time?
Prepare financially, is it? The biggest one was probably the hotel package. So I remember we had to go down and discuss with the lady then. His mom is quite good at bargaining. She came for one of the meetings and kind of tried to slash certain costs here and there. Asked for more tables. The rest of it, like it was like incidental charges, like the wedding singer, then we pay for it.
The photography.
The photos, the pre-wedding photos.
I think the biggest question that people ask is that when we do these weddings, right, are they able, from the giving, be able to cover or break even? What was your experience like?
Well, thankfully, our collection was able to cover, and I think there was a little bit of surplus.
Wow!
But the posture was not to make money of this event. So we were prepared to not break even, and I think that's
to bless the
it's
people
a celebration
who came,
for us, right, and to celebrate our friends. So we were not expecting, but it came as a nice bonus.
Thinking about kids, let's talk about kids, huh? Both of them have 4 kids. Not very common that you hear having more children for our nation. So maybe take us back. to when you all were planning for marriage together? Were you all discussing this already?
We've been dating for quite a while before we got married, so we kind of know each other. But the thing is, after marriage, we still wanted to travel together. Wanted to have more
Some time
couple
alone.
time.
Yeah.
So it was not until 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years into a marriage, then we had our first child.
So before that, were you already considering like roughly the number of kids that you want to have?
I think it was like 2 because we will say 1 will be too lonely, right? Then 2 is
That's very
like
true.
quite nice. Yeah.
Okay, so what led you guys to 4?
不小心了。
Hey, can't no. Hey, no such thing. Everything is the Lord prevails, you know. The Lord has ordained the moment for you, right?
Amen.
Yeah,
That's right.
But we did have some questions. Why the measures that we took didn't work?
See, that's why the Lord prevails. No matter what men say, it's what the word of God says.
Yeah, amen. But now that we have 4,
We can't imagine
we
life
can't
without
imagine
them.
life without
Yeah.
the 4 of them.
Correct.
How do you all cope with 4 children?
With a lot of difficulty actually.
And for yourself as a mom, how do you navigate work, mom?
Yeah. How do I manage, right? I wonder too. But I think with a lot of grace from God, it's really no other way. Because can you imagine I'm juggling 5 different schedules, including my own. And I need to know where this one is going at this time and what this one is doing at that time. So it's really a lot, but somehow we are managing.
How were you all planning towards your first BTO? How do you all narrow down to where you want to go? And then in terms of like financially, how do you move towards that?
We were not in a rush to move out into our BTO because we were staying at my parents' place.
After you got married?
After we got married,
Okay.
while waiting for BTO. So staying with parents, of course, naturally things are taken care of, laundry, food, and
it
stuff
is
like that.
talks.
But we were yearning for our own place.
Yeah.
Eventually, we wanted somewhere to call our home. So we took quite a while, I think a year to complete our renovation. And thankfully, my dad was able to help. He's in this industry.
Yeah.
So he technically used our place as his showroom. So
That's good.
He gave us quite good products so that he can also showcase to his clients.
Okay.
So from that, we also managed to have some savings because he didn't make a profit out of us.
Then in the process, how do you all identify where do you want to stay? What were some guiding principles for yourself?
We were limited by what the government released at that time, very hard to come by BTO location.
Yeah.
So the consideration for us was that we wanted to be near family.
Okay.
It was really like the place that we chose is in the middle of both my parents' house and his parents' house.
Oh, wow.
Your mom could walk over, but for my parents to drive over, maybe about 10 minutes.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
very good.
quite.
So you get the help and all that. Okay. Then in terms of the room, the sizing, what were you all planning first?
Okay. So we were quite clear that we wanted a 5-room. Yeah, we were thinking ahead. But for a while, one of the bedroom was empty until the first child came along.
We use it as our exercise room.
Which is more difficult? Planning for a wedding or building your first home?
Wow.
I think planning for a wedding because we have to finalize the guest list.
Yeah.
And that's the difficult part. Comparably, I think like building the home was a much more enjoyable process because we can choose like the design that we want and the materials.
What about you, Keith?
Well, I think planning for the wedding is just a once-off event. Planning
Yeah.
for the home never ends. Planning for the home is an ongoing process and there's a lot more consideration.
We come to the end of level 2.
I think we won.
Oh no.
I think so.
They are very confident.
So you ready?
Yeah?
4.
Oh, wow! Wow, I can't remember what I wrote, but wow.
Both of your words
Same?
are wedding.
Oh, same!
wow, same words.
Wow. Okay, now let's go to level 2's penalty. Let's see what's this. Oh,
hey, your favorite.
this one.
noodles.
Your favorite. Not bad.
Not bad. Keith is quite happy because there's free food.
Oh, still manageable. Oh, too fast. Say too fast. I can feel it. 谢谢 Andy. 谢谢. Okay, now we are going into level 3 where the mala is the highest intensity. You mentioned about being with your parents or in-laws for that matter. How do you all navigate that? And what were some challenges that you all faced?
I think I'm very blessed because her parents are very easy people. I think they are in-laws that most people would yearn for. Very supportive, very loving, very godly, and they don't have any demands or expectations. So the entire process was left to us. Of course, they had their guest list, and they're very friendly people. So they do have a lot of friends that they want to invite. So I think other than that, they were very accommodating. So that's my experience. But I don't know whether you experience differently.
Wedding itself, I think, as long as I could choose the things that mattered to me, like my wedding dress, all those things, I was okay because being the eldest, his parents would have like a long guest list also, and don't know who from don't know where will need to come.
Yeah, need a table for that.
Yeah, which sometimes I wonder, actually, do you know me? If you don't know me, why you come for my wedding? Yeah, but I mean, give and take lah, because it's their son's wedding ma. Yeah.
So that's how you honor your in-laws and the parents lah. Okay, thanks for that. I think you guys are really blessed to have both good parents that you all can navigate this through. Maybe share with us, what do you think are some mistakes to avoid?
A lot. The value of our marriage life, I would say, was when the first kid came along, because we probably didn't get enough handles or we didn't reach out fast enough. And we find ourselves always talking about the kid or talking to the kid. And then we were both, in a way, co-parenting. And then our marriage life was kind of neglected, taken a back seat. That was a really dark time where we felt relationship was strained, communication was almost zero. Don't talk about date nights. We just talk about washing milk bottle, changing diaper, feeding, that kind of thing.
Do you have a confinement at the point of time?
The first and second kid, yes.
Trying to get a human to survive.
Exactly.
Okay, what are some other things that come to mind?
I think it would be important to spend time to understand each other's conflict management style. Because more and more after I got married, I realized that our conflict management styles were very different. I don't know if it's a man and woman thing, but he likes to go to sleep first and talk about it tomorrow, but I want to settle it now.
For my wife and I, it's the other way. I'm going to sleep now. I'm very tired, same thing.
So I feel that can cause quite some tensions because then we are not like at the same pace already,
Okay.
Yeah. So do spend some time, talking about that. Don't just be all lovey-dovey, but talk about the hard stuff lah.
What do you feel your spouse grew in the most prior to marriage and then now in marriage?
Time management.
Maybe.
Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, you must appreciate what it's not bad at all, I tell you. It's just exaggerating.
Men always like to exaggerate. Same.
She learned to put first thing first. Before marriage, quite carefree. So your priorities are probably building a career, serving in church. But when we had a home with young children to care for, her priorities reshuffled greatly. And I feel that a lot of times she do put the needs of others before herself. And she does it very joyfully. Of course, it takes a toll on her, tired. Sometimes she get a bit stressed out. But I think she prioritized that as a worship unto God, serving the family. I've seen her continuously grow from one child to 2 children, 3 and 4, and she's just intensifying in that.
Really.
Very good. What about you, Cara?
Yeah, for me, I think Keith as a man, right, before marriage, what would be his priorities? It would be about like building his career, achieving success. But after marriage, I do see more and more that his priorities go from not just success but to significance, to wanting to leave a legacy, and really it's about him wanting to be a blessing to his world, to the people around him, whether it's his staff or like people in church. So I think that groundedness, I really see it coming through, and maybe it's because of marriage, like the great character improvement program. Right? It's not just chasing about success.
It's
chasing
really
after
molding,
success.
shaping.
Correct.
If you have one advice to a couple that's getting married right now, what advice would you give?
Think twice.
So ominous.
No, but think twice could be also a good kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, let's be certain about this, that you're going to love this person and take care of this person and not play a fool.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
In fact, can think twice also.
Yes, that's true.
Correct. Because, we want to really share this that, in the Bible, God says marriage is a covenant. So it's not a contract where, if I'm not getting my part of the deal, then I call it quits. But marriage is so precious to God that He wants us to stay together and for good reason to honor the design that God has.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think for me, my advice is for both sides, whether the husband or the wife, to take the position of a giver rather than a taker. Because in a marriage, it's all about giving, right?
Yeah.
And the irony is, in this wonderful union, the more you give, the more it fills up your tank. Yeah, so it's not like just expecting from the other party to fill your tank, but the more you give, your time, your talent, treasure, and you pour out your love, right? You feel that you yourself are being filled up. So whether it's in the family front, finances, love language, right? It always, if you can see yourself as the giver rather than the taker, I think that would be a good perspective to have.
Were there moments where you felt like you've come to the end of yourself in your marriage?
When Keith was talking earlier about the dark time that we went through after our first child, at that point in time, I remember talking to both sides of parents' help, and having their perspectives, because they were married like for so many more years than us, right? So they were able to shed some light, help us through our feelings.
What about you, Keith?
It is the unconditional love of Cara. It's almost like what she said earlier. In spite of, despite of, we still go on. The grace extended that kept me going.
Yeah, so good. And I think that unconditional love is the representation of God, in a sense, like God's love towards us, His grace towards us. The only way that we will be able to extend a kind of grace and love to one another is when we have experienced that ourselves first.
That's right.
And if we were to navigate it from a human perspective, there's only so much we can give to one another. A lot of issues that we face in our marriages is very universal. Like the moment you talk about the driving thing, it's
but
like...
I'm correct, right?
Of course you're correct.
You're always right.
You're always
the
right.
wives are always right. That's why I think the more we talk about it, then we are able to realize, hey, we're not alone. Because two different people are coming together and the grace of God is the one that binds both of you together.
That's right.
So one thing I want to encourage those of us who are planning to get married is from Ephesians 5:21. It's submitting to one another out of reverence for Christ. And so I want to encourage you, maybe some of us, you may be in a marriage right now or you're planning to get married. I want to let you know that you're not alone in this, that we're all traveling on this journey together of growing in our marriage. So do reach out if you need any help. Our contact details are below as well. But more than that, know that with God, it's His grace that's able to bind us together and help us to overcome and grow to be more like Jesus.
Amen.
I've come to the end of level 3.
We're going to win this, man.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Let's table the results.
2.
Okay, I relax first. Yeah.
Keith and Cara. 2 also.
Oh, wow.
Let's go with a classic scissors paper.
Scissors, paper, start.
Yes! Okay, let's see the final level. Oh,
This
wow.
soup one.
John, your word is children. Keith and Cara is in-laws.
Oh, wow, I didn't even remember I wrote that. I think later on, my lips were swollen.
This soup is very spicy.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is.
And you just finish it like that. Wow. Woo. We've come to the end of our Mala Mayhem episode on getting married, and we hope that you've been blessed by this. Thank you, Keith and Cara, for really taking time. Have a good one. Let's go.